Coach Sam needs no introduction, okay? Because if I start to do that bio thing, we're going to be reading his bio for like 15 minutes. So you all know Coach Sam. Coach Sam has been a friend, my coach, confidant. He's been my accountability partner over the years. And it's just so beautiful that when I thought of doing this live thing for the first time, there was no other person to do this with me, at least for this first one. So Coach Sam, I'm really grateful to have you here. So I met Coach Sam more than a decade ago when he was just transitioning from paid employment into being an entrepreneur. I think I was one of the first people who attended Coach Sam's training in 2012, 2013. At the time, that training was 5,000 naira. Can you imagine that? That's even less than right now with the currency rate, with the dollar currency rate, that's like less than $1. It was, okay, less than $5, right? And over the years, I have not just watched Coach Sam, but I have been a part of his transitioning from, that first training was called Barnabas House, right? To transitioning to SOPCA, and now transitioning to SECA Africa, and every other transition that has happened in the last 10 years, right? And that's why I call him the transition king, because every time Coach Sam starts with that transition and you're like, oh my God, here we go again. Then you see how he picks up, gathers momentum and just has a crowd of communities who are just ready to pivot with him at every point in time. Today, we're going to be talking about conquering limiting beliefs and effective transitioning strategies. The good thing about it is that there was no pre-recorded question and answer. So everything Coach Sam is hearing now is just hearing it for the first time. Please, I would want us to give Coach Sam a good welcome. So in the chat room, I want you to welcome him and, tell him how much we love him and how much we're excited to be here with him. Please help me welcome Coach Sam.
Thank you.
All the hands. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. So we all also know that Coach Sam is known as the octopus.
Let's go.
And if you know anything, I want to believe that you all know, the octopus with the 8 hands, whether it's hands or legs, I don't even know. 8 tentacles, yes. And it just shows how, I call him my Hydra-headed friend. Coach Sam is resourceful. If I need anything in this world, and I'm not kidding you, you call Coach Sam. If he doesn't have the answer, he knows somebody who has the answer. That's how he is. Very, very resourceful. So, Coach Sam, today is just a conversation, right? We just want to, hear you talk about, transitioning, but also I want us to leave this conversation today with strategies, effective strategies that will work across every climb. Most of the things I have learned from you, they have worked for me even in the US. So it just means that the things that you talk about, the things that you teach, they are replicable anywhere in the world. And that's what, because we have people who are joining us from different parts of, the globe. Some people will say, oh, because you are here, that's why it's working. Everything that worked for me while I was in Nigeria with Coach Sam, it's actually working better now that I'm in the US. So I want you to be open-minded. If you have questions, we would have a short period when Coach Sam can answer questions. I know this is live and we are on YouTube. This will be there as a digital footprint for me and the generations that are coming after me. So I am excited. So Coach Sam,
yes, sir.
I know that when we talk about transitioning, the first thing that comes into people's mind is the fear of it. You know,
Yeah.
if we take away that fear factor,
Yeah.
it will be easy for all of us to just jump on our dreams, jump on the next, big idea that comes to us. But the thing is fear. Fundamentally, of course, there are other factors, but fear is the fundamental thing.
Yes.
How did you make that move from being a paid employer, secure job in one of the thriving industry, a company at the time,
Yeah.
just going to start off? How did that happen?
Wow. Thank you, Prof. I'm excited to be on your platform. I'm happy that I'm the first to be on this live platform with you.
Thank
It's a
you.
big honor. I don't take it for granted. I don't take the fact that you and I are friends and we are confidant, we share a lot of ideas, we brainstorm. So I don't even take it for granted that I can be on your platform as the first live guest. So thank you. Thank you for recognizing that I can add value to your platform.
Thank you.
I want to answer your question by first establishing a fact. When you are not afraid of an ambition, you are likely to do a substandard outcome. If you are not afraid of the ambition, you are likely to have a substandard outcome, because when you know it, you can sit back and say, Shebi, now I know how to do this thing now.
Right.
So you not bring your A game because it's something is a walk in the park. When it is a walk in the park, you are likely to deliver a substandard outcome. And that is why the Japanese philosophy Kaizen is key in our lives and business. Kaizen simply says ever improving growth.
Yes.
That consistent improvement every single time. The Japanese believe that 0.01% on the last effort is the minimum. So it means that every time I'm doing something, I should try to do better than I ever did or I ever heard was done. That is why people who have excellence mindset constantly deliver excellence. They're not used to being excellent because excellence is not a destination, it's a journey.
Right.
So I'm starting on that note to say, did I foresee the results I'm getting today? They were just a mental picture. But again, the thing about transitions is that some transitions are planned, some transitions happen to you.
Yeah.
But whether you plan it or it happens to you or it happens on you, there has to be the fear factor is a living experience of life. It's not something you have an option anyway.
Right. Right.
No matter how prepared you are, it's just like a pregnant woman who has had a first child going for the second child into the labor room. You cannot say, she be me born the first child. I know what it means to be in the labor room. Well, I'm not a woman, but I've had the opportunity of having two biological children. And I know that at neither stage did I feel, definitely not the first, not even the second one did I feel like, we've been there before.
Right.
And I've heard from women who have had many children, every childbirth is unique.
I have 3, so I know.
The journey and the birth process, it's almost totally different in each case. That's the same thing with transitions. No two transitions are the same.
Yeah.
And the fear factor is part of the ingredient of transition. So if you ask me how I navigated it, honestly speaking, the first thing that I know I had to face is accepting the fact that this is something I have chosen to explore. Because the thing about transition is that it's actually a choice.
Wow.
The thing about transition is that there has to be a part of you that accepts that I want to do this thing. Whether it happens by force or it happens by planning, you must choose to follow the process. Let me give you an example. Mrs. O lost her husband. So that death came unplanned. But she had to sit down and accept that my husband has died. Then I need to move. I need to transit into after him. It was a choice. The death was not a choice.
Yeah.
But the decision to make progress from that point is a choice. All transitions have a role of choice, because it is when you choose to follow the transition that you can now attract the resources you need for the transition.
Hmm.
The willpower, the motivation, the strategy, the choices, the options, the people, the material resources, the motivation, even the insurance for the failure. It,
Right.
yes, it comes from the fact that, okay, this has happened, I need to move, and in this moving, I choose that I'm moving. Because you
Hmm.
could as well choose to say, I die here.
Right.
So
Right.
so fundamentally, there is no, you cannot say you plan for the fear. I'm not sure you will really plan for the fear. We just accept the fact that, do I want to move forward or do I want to stay here? When
Right.
you choose to move forward, the way God has wired the brain is that once I decide to move forward, resources begin to open up. It is called conspiration.
Hmm.
That's what Paulo Coelho talks about in his book, The Alchemist. He says,
Yeah.
when a man wants a thing, the whole universe conspires. There's an agreement in the spiritual realm that this
Hmm.
guy is ready. Let's send resources. So
Hmm.
transitions come from choices and followed by a backing in the spiritual realm. Because
Hmm.
all transitions are powered by spiritual activities.
Yeah.
So there's an unlocking of resources that says, this chap is ready, let's go.
Hmm.
So that's why you'll find two people have the same event. One is stuck, one is moving. And you're
Yeah.
wondering, is it not the same event that happened? Well, they may look like the same event, but one person chose to move. The other person chose to say, no, I want what was there. I want what was there. I'm not going. I want what was there. And then
Right.
the resources are locked up because you're not ready to use them. So that God does not do waste.
Hmm.
With God, there's no
Hmm.
waste.
Word.
If you will
Word.
not use the resources, it will not be released.
Mm. Oh my goodness. Transitioning is a choice, right? So there is a spiritual conspiracy when you decide to move,
Yeah.
then God aligns, here in the US, they will say the universe, but we will know God aligns everything to work together for your good
Yes.
when you make that
Yes.
choice. And Coach Sam, I think it's also very powerful when you look at it, the fact that you have that choice. The
Yes.
example you gave is very, very profound.
Mm.
There are situations in our lives that we don't plan. Just gave
Yes.
example of Mrs. O. You don't plan for death. Everybody
You don't.
plans. You want to marry and
And
stay
live
with your
forever,
partner.
happily ever
Yes,
after. Yes.
happily
That's
ever
that's
after.
the original. That's true.
That's the plan, right? But it happens, and it's the same thing with our lives, right? There are places that we have been to, and we know there is a nudging in our hearts based on our purpose for our lives. I mean, look
Mm.
at the thousands of people that you have inspired over this last 10 years, entrepreneurs that you have built, coaches that you have built. So there were people that were waiting on that move, right? There were
Yes.
people that were waiting on you to say yes.
Valid. Valid.
And so imagine what has happened in this past 10 years. Imagine if you had said no, if you were just, okay, I'm comfortable here, I'm just going to do this. And it takes me to the next point.
Hmm.
We are a very cultural and traditional society. And it's not just in Africa, it's also here. So
Hmm.
sometimes there are transitions you have to make where you have to think about the other
The people that will
factors.
be affected. Yes.
Thank you. So that's what I want to ask you now. How were you able to? I mean, for me, when I wanted to move,
Yes.
it's not like all those risks I took as a young person. As a young person, I had traveled to every state, almost every state in Nigeria. At least
Hmm.
out of the 36 states, I had gone to like over 30.
Hmm.
I would just jump on this and I'm going to Ogun State. I'm going here. But when I was moving to the US, I couldn't just jump. Do you understand?
Yes.
I had to
Yes.
consider
It
there was a
trembled.
husband, right? There's a husband, there is the children, and don't
Their
forget,
parents,
oh, if you're from Africa,
siblings,
thank you. There is the communal
as
people that
in
you have to
even your
appease.
neighbor get mouth, you get involved.
Thank you. The in-laws will call you for a meeting. Excuse me, this is your dream. What are you thinking? So how, and this is just on the very micro level. Then of course,
Yeah.
when we look at the macro level,
Yes.
economic factors, societal factors. How were you able to, how did you handle that? Were there challenges for you, and how
Hmm.
did you navigate that?
No, so this question is very valid. This question is very valid. And the honest truth is, let me build on your last statement when you said the thousands of people that my choice and move have impacted.
Yeah.
There's something about transitions. In the architecture of the way God plans things, God always has a fallback option.
Hmm.
So if your choice of transition is that I am dying here, I'm not moving, God has a fallback option because there are destinies tied to the transition. And
Right.
the transition has to happen for other people to be activated. So when your own transition is delayed, it may delay the timeline. But the thing again is, timelines really in God's eye is zero.